was born a simple man, educated just to fight. But I got soul, I got conviction, and a will to put things right. We lived our lives on grinding metal. For our people we have bled. We take comfort in the rhythm of machine guns spinning lead. Grind for the dawn, backbone and brawn. Survive as the last of our kind. 'Cause the way out is through. Kickbacks long overdue. Grab your gear, grab your gun, join the grind. To my friends and fallen brothers, you have offered us a chance to build a future from the wreckage in this desolate expanse. We won't let this world forget you. We got so much here to mend. You were soldiers for a while, but you'll be brothers to the end. Grind for the dawn, backbone and brawn. Survive as the last of our kind. 'Cause the way out is through. Kickbacks long overdue. Grab your gear, grab your gun, join the grind.
Welcome. We immediately go into the whole of the many arts. I should say, is that still working? But yes it is. Marvellous. Right, theoretically, did we resolved that last time, didn't we? Give it a moment or two. I don't think it's going to be. That's right. Good. Right. So, whereabouts were we? This is what we're working with at the moment. We did some wires, which I might try and sort of. I was looking at doing like a bright blue, wasn't I? Because of course, if you look at the reference image, there is a bit of sort of like blue wiring there. What I might try and do is figure out, because the wires are a separate entity, and therefore I could possibly just grab some of the tips of a couple of those wires and subsequently sort of add in the idea of, hey, this is bluey bits on the tips of the wires. That's for later though. Right now what we're going to try and do is we're still focusing on this sort of textured bit here, which the texturing did come out reasonably well, but obviously we don't really want this colour, so what we're working on is this area here. I think you can see my mouse, yes, marvellous. We're working on this area here, which will apply some form of gradient in a similar vein to the gradient here. Grab the tips, it begins. Beg your pardon? Don't think you should be grabbing the tip at all, thank you. But yes, we're trying to figure out, so yeah, here's our key gradients. I think what we're going to have to do, actually, is that going to work? Is that going to work? Is that going to work? Oh, that one did work, yes. Okay. What that is it's some kind of thing called a node wrangler, because this is all classified as it says there, use nodes. But this is considered, for anybody interested, this is considered the shader editor, and each of these is a sort of node. You can add different nodes, and with the node wrangler add-on, you can add add-ons. Go to preferences, add-ons. You install an add-on of your choice. That's how I did. Fun fact, since you're here, Mr. Can't Sleep Must Paint. Welcome, very much welcome. Sapling tree gen was how you got the trees next to the gate in that little transition thing through the Jurassic gates. They looked surprisingly good, and then with a randomised texture, you could just duplicate them, and then you had a different coloured trees all over the place. So it was rather automated, which was quite nice. But yeah, basically you just add a tree and it does it all for you, which is very useful, frankly, very useful. Right, so at the moment we do have pretty much the texture we're after. Or alignment? No. The gradient's vertical. That's the crucial thing. How are you, Mr. Can't Sleep? Have you been able to sleep, I suppose? Whoops. Always do that. I seem to always manage to go. That's it. Alright, that's more what we're sort of after. Now granted, we want the darker patch on top and then into the lighter patch, but it doesn't matter at the moment because we'll be changing the colours anyway. Now, the only thing I would say is I do want that, but I do want it sort of... Yeah, that's to be expected. I wonder if there's a way. I suppose maybe if I added a... No, again, that sort of just doesn't quite do what I want it to do. Delete that. Oh, not too bad. Slept like a deadlock last night after the stream. Like bothering Blue Bush. That's always a good way of finding a... that's always a good way to get to sleep, bothering Blue Bush. So something like, I think I had it roughly than where I wanted it. Let's just, no, that's 2 points. There we go, 0.2, or do I want to go 0.25? No, I definitely don't want to do that. 0.2. There's nothing stopping me utilising more points, but yeah, 0.22. Yeah, I think 0.22 seems alright. How am I? Yeah. I don't know. Been one of those days that's been a bit sort of like, haven't really done anything. So hopefully I can adjust that here, I suppose. Right, so what we want to do... Yeah, so what we need is this colour, the white, to be something... Oh, I'm thinking of Photoshop where it's got the automatic one. I don't necessarily know. Okay, I'm not 100% convinced this method's going to work. I mean, there's a theory that says it should do. Ooh. Ooh, what's happened there? A terrible thing, that's what's happened there. Or rather, nothing of any real use. Okay, interesting. Oh, did I just do it the wrong way around then? No. Oh. It would be better. Pop that back up to 0.22, and then maybe let's whip that round. Is that really sufficient? No. Well, if it was, okay, it was sufficient. I think minus 90. Yeah, 90. Interesting. It's really not quite captured it the way I wanted it to capture it, but I suppose arguably I could just move. Will you please? Will you please? Ooh, I should just zoom in, but okay, interesting. Weird how that's decided to do that, but oh well. I mean, as long as it works, I suppose. Oh, voice of the new age. I do feel like that. This one, I suppose it is. This should be a little bit darker. Yeah, something like that might not go amiss. Well, having said that, let's. It might be easier. Let's capture that in Photoshop, because I can. What I can do is I can be closer to the image when I do the eyedropper to get my base colours in Photoshop, whereas I was doing it a bit sort of sloppily in the old well, that is the right file folder. That's a help. Intro, research, that file. No, don't open. I didn't ask you to open the file, did I? It does. It did. Apparently I am asking you to open the file. Open it in there. There you go. You can't see this, but the machine is refusing to cooperate. Right. So let's have a look. Okay, so I think really what we want, as our first sort of go, I mean, that looks like it's pretty much black, in fairness, so let's not necessarily use that. Is that pretty much black? There's a little bit in it. Right, let's grab the hex code. For those wondering, you know, yeah, I must admit you might know, others possibly not so much, but you've got a hexadecimal code which defines colours. There we go. That has darkened it substantially, which is. But essentially, it's just a sort of alphanumerical code that defines. It literally just defines the colour. You've got three options here. You can either do red, green, blue, yeah, RGB, red, green, blue, or you can do hue, saturation, value. That's handy. I genuinely wasn't sure it was going to come up, but yeah, I wasn't. Value feels like such a meaningless word in that situation, but okay, am I? Okay, on that occasion, yes, I did something wrong. That's fine. I didn't actually change what I wanted to change. Right, there's yeah. Now what we want to do is go back to finding the darker colour, which in fairness is roughly off of black, really. There's a tiny bit of blue in there, but it's mostly black. Right, now that's not too bad. It's not too bad. There is another sort of, I don't know if you'd call it a trick or what have you, but now I must admit I don't know how to turn. Right, that's not what I wanted. If I do that, will it go back to that? No. Is that the one? What bloody hell's the button? Okay, apparently I don't know. Arguably I could just delete that. I suppose technically I could just run that without running it through the principle, but the principle has the roughness and stuff, so okay. Combined gets me almost what I'm after. Almost. Not quite. Let's just try. Now I've got the texture back in there, we'll try and sort of adjust back to where we think. Roughness. Well, let's say roughness should be the shine, so up the roughness to 0.9 perhaps, see if that helps it. But it does look definitely shiny for an object that's not really shiny. But never mind. Okay, so for now, well, I mean, we'll save it because that is progress. It does look a little bit more like that, but there is now arguably I think this is because it's meant to have been sitting around for a while, which is not quite what oh, no, that's what we'll do, I suppose. Nah, don't need the end tool there. Right. Okay. Theories. Doings. So, I want... I'll do it as a new texture. That should save it as a new texture inside, so... Maybe I shouldn't call it Rusty Cloud, but I will nonetheless call it Rusty Cloud. And what we want to do, I'm fairly certain, yeah, I think Clouds is going to be the best bet. Noise basis, oh good god. Blender original? No, not really. Perlin, not really. Improved Perlin, not really. Voronoi, not really. Voronoi free, not really. Reset the default value. Okay, that default value is Blender original, which is intriguing. Soft. Okay, here we go. That's one of the key elements. Right, good. Cool. That's roughly what I would want to. Try seeing what the sizing is. Yeah, I do kind of want it quite large. Depth, not quite so much. Colours, it's going to be awkward. Colour ramp. Alright, fine. I'll enable the colour ramp if you insist. But yeah, colour ramp might make it slightly easier. So what we want to do is try and get in here and try and find one of the browns now, ideally. So something like... Every time I flick to pirate fucking metal, yo ho ho motherfucker. He never says yo ho ho motherfucker. Perhaps he should have, but he never does. But yeah, good old. I think I'll turn that up in here because I do particularly like Assassin's Crack. Yes. You see, what I did there was I tried to... my brain was clearly trying to save time. So, Assassin's Creed Black Flag simply became Assassin's Crack. Now, granted, the gameplay is probably about as addicting as Crack, but nonetheless, that's not what I was supposed to say. You got an Assassin's Crack? Yes, indeed I do. Oops, come out, you. And then go like that. That should get me my first brown. And then over here, let's get me a second brown. Probably one of the lighter ones. Something like that will probably do. I don't know if this is going to work, but I rarely, if ever, know if any of this is going to work. Right, okay, so there's that. What does this texture look like at the moment? Okay. Yeah. Probably. Maybe. Right. Ideally, where there should be a... Oh, brightness and contrast, right in front of my face. Up the contrast. Oh, no, not like that. Oh, here we go, we can... If we get it there. Beware the Assassin's Crack, indeed. You always have to. So, clearly, one... Yeah, maybe 1.5. Oh, no, it's still... I suppose maybe even subtler. And possibly... I might actually want to lower the contrast. No, I want to raise the contrast. Recommend playlists quite often. As it should. I like it. But then again, I like everything Mirrorcore Sound. Everything that I think I've heard of his so far. Yes, I don't know. Darkening it. But darkening in such a horrendous fashion. Am I correct in that assessment? Yeah, that's lightening it and then lowering it is darkening, as I suspected. And surely that should be... Yeah, that's not as much contrast. That is getting more contrast, I think. I don't necessarily want those horrible sort of grey lumps. Or brown lumps, rather. So it looks like the contrast might have to stick as even then, apparently, anything other than 0 and you get some dodgy lumps, which size of derivative offset. I don't know what that means. I mean, I know roughly what all the words mean individually, but together, no clue. Well, that also apparently. I can't see a difference there. Depth of the cloud calculation. I do wonder, maybe. No, opt for that. And then down click that. Now there we go. If I opt, a bit of dodginess there. But there we go. I don't know how necessary it is, but it's just one of those ones where I don't want the strange sort of brown lumps. Texture, right, so it should be to the point in time where I suddenly find out there's just a cloud texture here as well, but no, okay, so texture, how do I do that? That's just tiny text. Okay, so interestingly enough, you don't have the built-in texture there, so is it under a different thing? Don't know what that means. So, that is intriguing because I feel like that should be. Be certain this texture is supposed to now exist, but clearly I'm mistaken on that front. That cloud that definitely does not exist. No, okay. Yeah, it does seem to sort of. It doesn't exist as an image texture. Is that? Or can I search for it? No, I can't search for it. Interesting. New. No, I don't think I want new. So arguably I could just build it in Photoshop again and then drag it in, but let's make it mildly annoying that I've just built it in bloody. What's that? I might be able to look it up. I'm now looking things up. Also, because I've had to open my browser, I'm now also looking at my emails because they've appeared in front of me. So I might as well deal with that situation. Right, get rid of that. So there's every possibility the whole stream might just suddenly sort of lag to buggery, but we'll see. Right, now I'm looking at YouTube because again that's opened in front of me. Right, there we go. Now I can actually look something up. I wonder if that is kind of what I need. Oh, good God Almighty! Did I make it annoying? Right, come on. Let's read what this is. Quite. That feels like what I've done. I don't want to say. Let's go there. That's not quite what I want. There. That's not exactly what I want either. No, again, I don't. Is there a way to save that? Ew, I see. That's okay. Maybe that is just how it works, and not the way I thought I would be able to get it to work, which I suppose is fair enough. As I say, I'll just drop into Photoshop and see if we can get somewhere there. So let's do that, and then I've already got the colour here, so. Like that. Leave that. Something along those lines. Right, I'll tell you what we'll do. If I drop the blender, you can now see the Photoshop. And basically what I've done is I've opened a new Photoshop file which is 1024 by 1024. And what I'm going to do is I've already got my I've already got my two colours there. Now I must admit I can't remember which way around I need them, but you need your two colours in your sort of. Unfortunately, this is the bit that's just about cut off, I think, isn't it? Yeah, pretty much that entire side is cut off. But where you've got your colour choices in Photoshop, that's where you want your colours for these, and then you just render clouds, and then you suddenly sort of look at it and you go, ugh. But there's other things you can do, I suppose. But let's have a look. Let's do clouds is clouds. That's fine. Sharpen, sketch, stylize, distort, blur, artistic. Possibly that is pretty much what I want, so I wonder if maybe pop in here with the contrast, as I was fiddling with contrast before. Darkness, I suppose. I do wonder if there's a way of. I suppose maybe the crucial element. No, I was going to say the crucial element might not work, but let's flip my colours around and see what happens if I render clouds like that. Well, I mean, pretty much the same. Pretty much the same. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I didn't get a better cloud. So, I do feel like there's a way of pushing these clouds together a little bit more, but I suppose let's try sharpen. It didn't do anything. Cool. Never mind. Sharpen edges, you do anything? No, you didn't seem to do anything. Render. Oh, try a difference cloud. No, I didn't. Not overly keen on that. You often use that, but that's not really. That's not really helped. I mean, what's the armour using something called dry brush? This maybe, I don't know, do I want to... I can't imagine that'll do what I wanted to do, although having said that, yeah, I mean, it's different, not exactly what I wanted, but interesting. Brush strokes, I can't imagine any kind of brush stroke going to help me here, but oh, then again, maybe I should just have a look through these, see what crops up, because they are doing more than I expected, but it's a shame I don't have the instantaneous knowledge to know exactly what every single one of them does off the top of my head, which unfortunately does end up proving slightly awkward, because it does equate to the idea of you having to sort of pop on round and sort of look through every single one of them to see precisely what they're doing. Now this one like feels almost like it could work, but it just doesn't quite. Unfortunately, you can't see the window I'm working on at the moment. That's an interesting one. I mean, it'd be very good if I was working on sort of actual full-on mud, but yeah, the whole I'm not makes it a bit shit. But good old-fashioned sort of sometimes worthwhile trying to keep a note of these things, but again, it's never quite touching what I need it to do. And that's the savage side of me, I believe. Yeah. Sometimes it's satisfying when you know them off by heart. I have possibly listened to the savage side of me way too many times. Never quite deliberately though, which is weird. One of those odd ones, but it's like, yeah, no, I don't really intended to listen to this song quite as often as I have. What is that? What is that? What are you? I don't know, but you're not doing anything, so let's not do you. I've already tried that. I've already tried one of them, I think. Others. Yeah, I just don't like him to find what I'm after. So maybe that's what I'm after. Okay, not quite that way, but I'll do it. It's something it's not happy about. What I'm doing, something it's really not happy about. Curves? We'll try curves. Curves. Ah, okay. Not quite. This is. This is more. This is entirely the wrong colour, but it's slightly more what I was after. So what I want to do is sort of crush it to sort of like distinctly sort of patchiness. And this is definitely the way it's doing. Right, so if I get rid of that brightness contrast, yeah, that brightness contrast is doing nothing for me, so get rid of that. Now I just need to figure out what might be intriguing. So I stick another clouds on top. That's it. But now, if we have a little fiddle, as it were, not quite. Again, not quite. I think the underneath colour is. Having said that, that's a bit Hue, yes. Hue, Barney McGrew. Okay, Hue. Okay. But maybe I don't actually need that. Maybe what I just need is a new layer. And then dump that colour on top of it. To then hue. Yes, so I don't really need the clouds on it. And then maybe the issue we've got is it's quite dark, so I suppose arguably it's where I should have started with black and white clouds. I can't adjust that. Okay. What we'll do then? Yeah, okay. If I ditch that, that'll make it life slightly easier. Ah, good afternoon, Mr. Blue Boosh. How be you this afternoon? That didn't work. Why didn't that work? Oh, because it's the wrong button. That's why it didn't work. I mean, how often is that the case? Right, render, clouds. Boom, roughly what we're after. And now, badoosh. It did nothing. No. Oh, fire in your hole. A pissed off cybernetic robot friend, and man, we're gonna ruin your day. Landed on the planet, and the taco attacked us. Into a cactus. It's gonna burn and play. I do sort of know the words. There's a storm coming, well, it's getting hot. There's a storm coming, it's getting hot. There's a storm coming, it's control of your rear plumbing. There you go, that's how the arts hole is today. About to lose control of your rear plumbing. No, absolutely not. Right, that. What I think I'll do, because I keep using this, so I'll turn those off. Actually, I want them on for now. But yes, how is my arts hole today? It's yeah, I mean it's going. Into the sky. Fall. Oh, screw you. Went to a wall. There's a storm coming. Well, it's getting hot. There's a storm coming. The body's getting shot. There's a storm coming. About to lose control of your rear plumbing. Fire in the hole. If you've never played Bulletstorm, play it. Okay. Now try Hue. God damn it! Sometimes I hate life. Okay, that's not exactly what I want. Just need you to behave indeed. If you wouldn't. Oh, okay, that's. Yeah, I mean, it's not intolerable. Have a look, that's darker colour. Linear burn. Linear burn might be slightly better. Oh, okay, multiply. I should have tried multiply from the start. It's the standard one. Well, it's the standard one for getting effects that I'm after. Okay, that's roughly viable. Right, not in that folder. Where the bloody folder is it? That's the folder. That's the folder. 3D files. Let's do a new folder. Now I have to find that folder. Nice. I suppose we'll call it Rusty Clouds again. Oh, fire in your hole. But yes, if you've never played Bulletstorm, I would recommend it. It is a fantastic game. Now, why are you not doing? Oh, because I'm over there doing something else. So we need to get out of that. Now you'll do. Right, now we'll stick Blender back on because we're back in Blender. No, I don't want new. I want to open one. Textures, Rusty Clouds. Open the image. Right. Okay. So I now need to figure out roughly what I want to do with this, and I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna stick it there. See what happens. Okay. I mean, that's Wrong, granted, but interesting all the same. Let's use my Wrangler. Okay, so that's intriguing. I probably want mapping attached to it, don't I, first? So I don't know where it is. So mapping. Now scale. Am I going up in scale? Oh, now that's interesting. It's very interesting. Oh. Oh, that's because I put it in the wrong place. That's why. But that is fascinating. So I'm mapping, apparently I'm mapping the location, but I'm mapping the location of the colour. So I can rotate where it is, and I'm assuming that's moving it on like some kind of colour wheel, but I don't know where the colour wheel is, so I can't exactly say for certain what it is, but that's quite peculiar. Can you just reset them back? No, we'll do with that for now, and now, yeah, try and put it in the right place. Bam. And now what I want to do is just stick that in the viewer. Okay, now that's interesting. Very interesting. Okay. That's definitely not working, but at that moment in time, I don't know why, which would be a lovely new one. Oh, maybe I wanted texture. Nope. Cool. Right, so it's definitely the mapping that's breaking it, so let's have a look at some of our other mapping options. I suppose maybe I do need a texture coordinates. Maybe that's going to be a secret solution to the whole problem. So we'll stick the vector in there. Texture coordinate. One is generated into the vector. Right, that's definitely not correct, but that's fine. Maybe UV in the vector? Okay, there we go, right. No, so I want to go down. That's it. Now this is one of those ones I never remember, but you can do all three at once. It's still not quite what I'm after, so 0.25. That's a bit more what I'm after. In fact, that is probably okay. Now I just got to figure out precisely how to get this to connect in. So, right, let's, for now, trash that viewer, because I don't need it anymore. And now we'll whip that bus stuff back in. That should go back to what we had. Now I am curious what this normal situation we're in. Okay, no, that's the wrong thing anyway. Alpha situation, that's what I wanted to go into. Okay, so that just sort of adds sort of weird spackly bits I don't particularly want. So, what I'm thinking, what I want here, mix shader. That's the one. So, pop you in there, pop you in there, oops, pop you in there, and now pop you in there. I see, because I can't really put it through. Oh, that is interesting. That's very interesting. Okay. I suppose I've just put it in the wrong place, that's fine. So yes, I want that shader there, I want that shader to run through there, and then that shader to run into there. And then that shader's running into the surface. Okay, it's currently ugly. I'm hoping maybe to improve upon it. So I wonder, would it be worthwhile? Don't know. What happens when I do that? Okay, intriguing. I wonder if it would be worthwhile running this lower section. I'm gonna duplicate that stuff because I think it should do. Because I want roughly the same sort of texturing. So having it. Okay, there we go. Okay, it looks a bit more. Looks a bit more involved and inside of it now. Now, what happens when I remove that alpha? Okay. I was hoping that wouldn't be quite what was happening, but 0.2 there, and then theoretically that's going in the wrong way. Yes, it is. If we pop you down there, somewhere like 0.35 maybe. Let's just get that little sort of mostly. Yeah. Ooh. Pray tell, what was that noise? That was the ooh of I might have actually done roughly what I was after. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it's not, you know, it's not precisely that, but it's never meant to be. But it does just chuck in a little bit of that brown sort of disappearing act. Now I wonder if maybe we could do something even more. I mean, it's probably. Did we not? I think we got them all. Did we get them all? Marvellous, yes we did. If I do that, this is the point where I break it all. Oh, you okay? I don't think that's quite the way round I wanted it, but that should be an easy enough fix by going -90. Obviously, by easy enough fix, I meant absolutely not the easy fix. I suppose arguably maybe what I wanted to do is just invert these. So make that the white, make that the black. Might be the easiest way of doing it. Or not. We're back on the factor. Let's disconnect that. Because we did have something that was tolerable, and now I'm fiddling. Oh, unless maybe I want to put alpha in alpha. Which, I mean, distinctly possible, but no, I don't think that's worked. I suppose let's put that back to black. Put this back to the way it was. No. Now, as I suspected, it is colour, because I do want the colour of the colour ramp to affect the alpha of this. But I want it to do it the opposite way round. Flying choppers! Yes. Because let's see, can we see? Oh, okay. Wait just a fucking minute. Motherfucker! Why is it sometimes you do a thing and it goes, that didn't work. And then you do the thing slightly differently and it suddenly goes, oh no, I worked this time. Son of a little shitter. as we get further and closer, and look at that, look at that. What the hell, nudge? Yes. Yes. I must admit, I'm not overly keen on the bottom bit here. But can we... I don't know how to solve that. Ease? Can I solve it with ease? No, probably not. Cardinal? Will the Cardinal come and rescue me? No, not so much. Oh, Silver and Steel, that's Witcher theme. B-spline? No. A constant's definitely not going to work because that's going to just put a rigid line. I mean, it's quite a high rigid line, but I was correct. So that's quite good. PS likes to tell me I can't import a JPEG because I don't have RAM, then just works the second time. Yeah, I do enjoy just sort of going, no, and then suddenly, yeah, alright, now you've asked nicely. That's sometimes the issue, I suppose. Blimey, I don't know about any of those. But is there a way? I mean, the answer should be yes, but also no. Pop that in there, and then pop that there. And then theoretically, if I drop that down to black... Right, there we go. Okay, that's vanishing it a little bit like that. I don't know if I want to vanish it. Oops, that's the wrong little icon. Looks. 0.2 for you. That'll do nicely. Now you... What do you think? I suppose arguably I've solved the issue by zooming in. Should have just zoomed in the first place. We'll have the cloud sort of reach roughly maybe there. Now, arguably, well, maybe we need to sort of... Maybe this needs to be popped down a little bit. Yeah. So, I realise I just made that 0.2 twice, but I changed my mind about precisely how I want to do it. What I'm wondering is if we drop this to a grey, annoyingly, I can't see both things at once because I've got it right over the top. Right, there we go, that should... Right, so, whoops, come on. Oh, that's an empty. Oh no, is it doing what I want it to do? No, I don't think it is. I guess I can't see it doing what I want it to do. Oh, that's weird. Oh wait, no, I think it is doing... Oh, it's doing exactly what I thought it was going to do. Just not quite in the place I was... right, it's this one I want to adjust. Because if I want to just fade it a little bit... So, again, for anybody... interested and not aware, what I'm basically doing here is fiddling with the alpha channel of this image. The alpha is basically how visible something is, as far as I can tell. I'm mostly paraphrasing, and I do make the emphasis that this is not a tutorial. But nonetheless, what I'm doing is I'm trying to make a ramp on the alpha channel. So anything that's black is invisible, anything that is white is visible. Hence why, if I make this middling section white, you can see it very clearly because the alpha channel is at maximum. But if I drop it down to black, it's invisible. But if you do it somewhere in the middle, you can get a not intolerable sort of phased out element. Which is kind of what you want. In fact, I think I might stop fiddling because I think it's kind of accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. It goes from a nice dark material down into a sort of greyish, a lighter greyish material, and on top of that it is registering a cloud of rusty browns mixed with last week's efforts to get a beautifully sort of textured thing that sort of fades out as it's torn away. So I think, I mean, it's not... I mean, arguably I've seen vastly more complex ones of these, because there's, I mean, some of these I've seen where they use all these nodes. Now, I've used all these nodes to just produce some colour. Some people have used some of these nodes to produce a sort of customisable actual geometry shape. So you can do amazing things in this node editor, but as you can see, it's not the simplest of things, is it? Whoops. Especially if you don't get it to move where you need it to move. We'll just sort of, I don't know, we'll tidy them up a little bit. But, I mean, at the end of the day, sometimes it's simply a case of, has it worked? And if the answer is, yeah, then it doesn't matter how many nodes you've used. Oh dear. Oh dear, what? I didn't change anything. Machine, I just moved things. So I'm not sure why it sort of almost suggested I'd adjusted something, but maybe I should not move things, just in case I broke something. Will you please? Surprisingly difficult to latch on and grab some of these little elements. I don't know why. I don't know if that's just me, or whether it's the program. Oh dear. There we go, we're fine. No, it's not quite going to work the way I wanted it to, but I was trying to get the sort of the joins. I was trying to get straight, but it's fine. It doesn't matter. As I say, absolutely pointless adjusting that, but yeah, it's interesting to see it. There you go. If anybody, I don't think it's clear enough because I'd have to zoom in, but you know, if anybody wanted to build a handle material, there's some stats. But you'd need the rusty clouds, which you wouldn't have. But then again, they're easy enough to produce. You'd also need the normal map, which again, easy enough to produce. I did so. Right, save that up. Now, question bodes, what do we fancy doing next? Now, theoretically, there's an argument that says doing the metal up here might not be too difficult, because we're looking at roughly the same sort of deal as last time. Or roughly what we were doing here, we'll want to do there. But I am also slightly tempted to look in on this sort of base, what is essentially like a little sort of squiggly turd. Because it might not go amiss just if I finished off the base of the handle. And I will just say, none of this is entirely necessary. I realise that sounds stupid, because it is. But yeah, it's going to be seen for a very limited amount of time, which makes a lot of this pointless, but it's mostly based on learning. Yeah. That's the general gist of the plan. Just learning ways to do things. So I'm thinking this one can probably be a little bit simpler, because I don't necessarily need as much fanciful stuff, because it is very much... I mean, I've made the shape a lot simpler than it actually is there as well. So I'm thinking maybe just... I might use my cloudy rust cloud again. So what we'll do is we'll take that, copy it. This is the benefit, of course, of using smart machines. I've basically gone, I want that thing I had previously. Do you? Cool. Grab it, stick it in then. I probably don't need that. Well, I haven't said that. No, that's going to be metallic this time, so I probably do want a different. So if we stick that in there, it's not quite worked. But apart from that, it's fine. I think it is working, I'm just not entirely sure Because it's obviously changed colour, so it's definitely doing something. Precisely what is questionable. I'll try just taking that off for now. Yeah, okay. Well, that's interesting. Quite what I want. Yeah. So theoretically, if I just do one. Oh, there we go, yeah. I must remember to do it like that. Maybe I do 2? Yeah. Yeah, I think this time I want it. Oops. 3? Let's see where this is going. 4? Let's ramp it all the way up to 6. Okay, that's not the worst, not the best, not the worst. That'll give it a little bit more texture, but what I will want to do, I think, is mix it with something else. So that the browns are a bit darker and so much like the handle, we'll want to mix it. So I'm probably... Yeah, I mean, let's try... I'm going to take this, but I'm going to want to change the colours. And then what we want to do, pop that over there and drop in a mix. So again, if you were unaware, I can sort of run roughly through what the mix shader does, but it is pretty. We'll pop them. There we go, marvelous. It is relatively simplistic and kind of self-explanatory, really. What it does is you have 2 inputs. So here. This input here, if I take that straight to, whoops, if I take the top one straight to the surface of the model, you'll see that's just that gradient. Doesn't even look much of a gradient at the moment, but I think that's because the gradient coordinates are elsewhere. We can adjust that. But nonetheless, at the moment, that's just that gradient colour. Whereas if I take this, let's put that back in that shader, and if I take the bottom one, you can see that's the rusty cloud texture. If I put them both in this mix shader and then take the mix shader to the surface, it mixes them. I don't have a better way of describing it other than just using the word mix. It does exactly what it says on the tin. It mixes them. And what you can do is the factor. So this, at the moment, on 0, it is all shader 1, which is our sort of gradient darkness. And then all shaded 2 is number 1, which is our clouds. 0.5 is a perfect blend of the 2. I'm probably going to go after something more along the lines of sort of 0.3 or something. But it's difficult to know for certain. It depends later when I've fiddled around with this. So what we'll do is I think we'll just pop that in the surface so that we can work on getting this to do something. Now, I must admit, where are we looking for this here? The point of our gradient is weirdly vanished. Unless it is just, I'll tell you what, let's just make bold choices of colour, because then it's easier to identify. Right, so part of the issue we've got is the gradient is not doing quite what I want. And by not doing what I want, I'm not doing anything. Okay, here we go. There we go, that's more what I'm after. I just have to move it a bit closer. I've got to move it closer to the sun. That's Thunderbirds for you. I do love Thunderbirds. I must admit, I do want to. At some point, I wouldn't mind building it myself. I mean, it's a bit of a waste of time in a way, because it exists is part of the issue. But I would love to build myself a Thunderbird 2. As I say, a little bit of a waste, because of course there's going to be 1,001 people who have gone, I really fancy building myself a Thunderbird 2. But, you know, at the end of the day, it is quite nice to be able to say I built a Thunderbird 2 for myself. I'll tell you what, let's make that this car, which is actually a far deeper purple than I thought it would be, but let's just see what else we can do. Let's try and get in that sort of brown, because again I'm flitting between Photoshop and Blender, so that's why it's sort of okay. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, which is usually a good thing. So let's now go back to mixing those and see what happens there. Oh, no. Now see, the reason why this is now black, the blackness of the void, is because you see here, this material output is what is on this area here. I think my mouse is visible, yeah. So this being free and empty means there's no texture applied, which is why what you have to do is just pop those together and it combines. I must admit that is not doing it for me. I don't know precisely what I want to do to solve the problem. So this might require a certain level of extra thinking time, because it's part of me wondering if I do want to sort of add a little bit of extra geometry in there, which I almost don't want to, because it feels like a bit of a waste, but also I kind of think I might it might be beneficial to. At the moment, that cloud doesn't quite go as well as I would like. Let's try. Really thought that was going to work, but let's try really pumping it up. But the more I increase its size, the more it's going to start repeating. The more it's going to perhaps be obvious that it's repeating. But we do have other options, I suppose. Extend? I don't think. No, extend is not the one. Clip? No. Okay, I thought there might have been a sort of repeat. I think is the only one we've got available to us. Let's have a look at some of these other options, see what they do. Not a lot for the most part. Oh no, there we go. I was going to say Cubic broke it, but it's taking its sweet ass time to load. No, okay, linear seems reasonable, but I think we've taken it too far. At 25, we've taken it too far. Maybe what I want to do is rotate it. If I can rotate it. Oh, there we go. Okay, I can rotate it a little bit, but I feel like that's rotating. Oh no, there we go. It's okay. I mean, it's doing something. Horrible things, but it did do something. Interesting. Oh, I see. That's probably because. Go back to generated. Oh no. Go back to UV. It was at least better. Not great, but it was at least better. And it's quite fascinating beholding what we're building is. Using the numbers to build weird patterns, but none of them good patterns. It just doesn't make it any less fascinating, I suppose. The problem we've got is it is starting to look a bit too much like a turd. Which I know I jokingly said it looked a bit like a turd dangling out there, but now I'm trying to use all these rusty browns. It's really going sort of full force. I am a turd sort of thing. Maybe, do you know what? Where I've accidentally done those lines, I wonder if I can use that. I feel like maybe it's pointless trying to use it, but what sort of lines did we get when we said all of them to 90? Oops. No, not 900 degrees, thank you. Okay, so no, not quite what I'm after, but and then try and find a sort of pattern we like. for the handle and find where we were fiddling with our normal maps. No, we just want... yeah, I think we just want that. Oops, did you not... oh, you did. I didn't think it had copied. So what are we after? Normal, just... it's called normal map. I pop you in the colour, and then we pop you in the displacement. And then we get sort of a... exactly Wonderland. That's not really helped. I'm not sure if that's going in or out, which is interesting. Oh, I see, interesting. 10. Yeah, see it. Interesting. Well, I suppose no, it's just, it's either something or nothing. Fair enough. No, it's not going in a direction I think we need. I would have been better off going up rather than down. Broken pieces, not. Maybe I just need to adjust my colours. Try and get a bit more of a grey in there rather than this sort of purple. But then again, I do need it sort of. But maybe, yeah, maybe this just needs to be. I just need to make sure this is sort of a darkish gradient. And then when we start mixing, the brown will come in from the cloud. Oh, apart from I fucked up the cloud, that's fine. I can live with adjusting that back to not being quite so fucked up. There we go. Then maybe we do. Oops, that's the wrong buttons. There we go. Let's try that displacement map again. So normal map. Colour. Displacement. No, that is interesting. Now, what? I don't know what this is going to do, but I suppose, as usual, stick it in, it can't hurt. Not necessarily good advice, but okay, it didn't quite do what I wanted, but I do wonder. Delete with a reconnect, and then it's one of those ones where sticking it in the right place might be crucial, but then again, I think no matter what I do, yeah. That's maybe making a strange. rendered mode, see if that's just an oddity of that, or whether that is a full-on. Oh, okay, that's intriguing. And that. Yeah, okay, actually, that's not so bad. No, we want to adjust the strength of this. At this point, this might die on me, but let's get out of that mode because doing horrible things to my computer, I fear. Let's save it just in case it does decide to die on me. Object space, let's try some of these different options, see what they do. World space. Blender object space. Blender world space. Now, all of them sort of do look like they're sort of screwing up the texture, but to a certain extent, when in this sort of rendered mode, it doesn't quite look like it's screwing up the texture, so it might just be a graphical glitch in the sort of the Cycles engine can handle what I'm asking it to do, whereas the Eevee engine not so much. But yeah, that gives it a little bit of roughness, doesn't it? Have this a little bit more of the brown. If anything, we want. Oh no, not 0.5, 0.05, please. So 0.1. I had it at 0.1, didn't I? Fuck's sake, sometimes. Absolute fucking bellend sometimes. Maybe 0.8 there. And now, I suppose arguably, if we have the roughness of the rustiness up to 8, and then the roughness, yeah, the roughness of the actual sort of colouring, 0.5 perhaps, that will mean the rust is a little bit more sort of, well, I suppose arguably it shouldn't have rusted because it's only just been sliced in half in the scenario we're doing here, but fuck it. It's not rust, it's sort of heat corrosion because of the situation it was in. Don't know why I'm being mysterious there. It was cut in half by another lightsaber. It's really of no significance or importance. That's not intolerable. Let's have a little. I don't know where the camera's pointing, but we'll have a little render. Equal render. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but we'll pop on the old screen. Yeah, it's gone. It's in there. Oh, there you go. The last one I did was right shooting off the handle. Weirdly, that now looks like it's going down inwards again, which is not. Huh. That was the whole point of inverting it, computer. Apparently the inversion didn't specifically work. But I can't deny, despite the inversion not fully working, it still doesn't look too bad. It has a bit of a sort of. I do want to work on those wires, they now look. This is the problem, when you make something look fancy, everything that doesn't share the fanciness suddenly really stands out as like, oh, that's a bit bland, isn't it? I did say I had a couple of ideas on how to sort of get at least a little bit of the blueness that it shows in there. But yeah, that's really not. It's not terrible. It still looks a bit like a turd, sort of just dangling out, but it at least looks like a sort of metal rusty turd. So I suppose arguably the shit of an old man robot. Definitely tolerable. Definitely tolerable. Alright, let's turn you off. Now let's close that window. And now let's... Don't actually need to save it because it's already saved, but never mind. Right, I think at this point we'll head upwards. Again, I suppose I just feel like I might, because there's supposed to be sort of like limited rust over the entire thing. I feel like I'm definitely going to end up. Now, the crucial question is, which area is this? I believe I'm looking at the area I think this is, but if I'm wrong. It's just, I suppose arguably that's the easiest way. Yes, good. That's exactly what I thought I was looking at. Right, so what we're going to want to do is get our rusty clouds back. I mean, basically we're going to want to do roughly the same thing, just with, again, slightly different shades of colour. So yeah, kind of just want to... We will want those bits. And we want to mix it up. Roughly where are we at the moment? Okay. Intriguing. We don't appear to be where I was expecting to be. So let's get rid of that alpha connection for now, just to try and establish a baseline. No, we still don't appear to. Oh, okay, there we go. Because again, I probably want to sort of... Okay, that's roughly what we're after. Possibly unsurprising, but I've got a feeling this might be Iron Man based. But I cannot guarantee this. Okay, so now we want to perhaps start fiddling with our alpha channel. Now that's interesting. Okay, that's fine. So what we want to do is figure out precisely what we need to do here. Oh, there we go, right. Exactly. I'll probably get rid of that. It's intriguing that it's not... It's very sort of... Oh, I suppose, yeah, because it's not mixed. That's fine, yeah. Well, it still seems, it still feels like that shouldn't be quite such a solid. Sort of more of a fade to it rather than just a sort of... up adjusting the button to be its own texture. I feel like my silver metal to do being a bit darker. Rust needs to be a bit tighter. So maybe try 16. Oh no, that's too much. Maybe try 12. Maybe 8. Okay, that could work a bit. Is there a... Yeah. I got confused as to RGB curves, I think is what we're after. I must admit, curves wasn't the one I was intending to use, but it's doing the job, isn't it? Let's try that back at 16. Maybe I just need to go sort of super high. I don't know, something like 50. No, absolutely no. Still not quite doing what I'm after. 0.5 is still make it bigger, isn't it? Yeah, that's the key point. 16. Arguably, it might be a case of trying to build a new texture, which is not unreasonable. Not unreasonable at all. Oh, this is another... I think it's another Assassin's Creed based one. Right. Leave that as it is for now. We'll pop back into here. Where what we'll try and do is build another cloud. So you can't see it at the moment, but what we will do, I will fix Blender and open Photoshop, and we're probably going to want to, let's get that to black and white. And I don't know, maybe I'm just shit at Photoshop, but I always found getting rid of the background gives you more options. Rather than actually putting anything on the background. To render clouds. So we start with clouds once again, and now this is Grand Theft Auto 4. Quite obviously, it's based on Nico and his absolute love of fucking bowling. What I'll do is, again, I believe it's called a... I don't know. But we're doing... I remember learning the sort of... this kind of 2-point adjustment to curves, where you can really get quite a high contrast. Because it's interesting, actually. In a way, at least interesting to me, I suppose. The methods I'm using here in Photoshop are actually more methods I learnt in After Effects, but you can sort of copy them over, which is quite nice. Right, let's try copy, merge, and then we'll get rid of that baseline. so that I've got the baseline available if I don't like what I'm doing here, which is highly likely. Okay, that's not exactly what I wanted. I wanted to... No, okay. No, if anything, I want to make the clouds even more mosaic. No. No, that's really not. Let's have a look at some of those others though. Colour half tone. I can't imagine that's going to help me. Find the edge of a hole. No, I mean it's not. No. No. It's so often the way. I don't know. Just sort of fiddling and seeing what happens really. Okay, so you can't multiply 100. That's fair enough. Multiply back even. Colour burn. Okay, that gets it back to black, but not necessarily in a good way. Interesting. 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 Very interesting. Yeah. Okay. I suspected there is a thing for that. So once again, we'll duplicate, and we'll pop that one there, and then we'll merge those together. And we'll pop a little. Oh, this is exactly. That's the name of the song. It's very strange to hear him sort of bring it in. When he does these things live, when he says, "I'm just about to play the song," that's A Dog's Life, but it's from the sort of fairy tale, telltale game, whose name escapes me. A Wolf Among Us. Is that it? Yeah, fairly certain that's it. A Wolf Among Us. I do really ideally want that inverted. What is threshold? Shite, that's what threshold is. Shake it, don't make me look at my teeth. You name that button? That was good. I do want it black and white, but I also want it the opposite, which you'd think an invert would work, but it didn't quite work the way I wanted it to. That's definitely the closest I can get. But it suddenly ends up being a little bit too sort of... Now it suddenly looks a bit fleshy, which is not necessarily what you want. Add noise. Oh! Lordy. Well, it definitely makes it an interesting pattern, but not one you want, is it? Try running through some of these other filters again. Again, I'm afraid you won't be able to see these filters because... are you not? Oh, okay, interesting. Apparently you're not able to... I can't even see the potential because I don't think it'll work. Okay, it's fine. So maybe it's because of what I need to do. But I think since that's shit, we'll just merge it and probably start from an earlier point maybe, but we'll see. Facet. No. Oh. I mean, I've found a texture that looks like a whole load of maggots. So I need a texture that's a whole load of maggots, but I mean, technically I've found it still looks like a whole load of maggots, doesn't it? That's the issue we seem to have. Find the edges again? Oh, okay, that's... That once again just doesn't quite do it. Maybe I can go back to brush strokes and it'll work this time. There we go, yes, it will work this time. Angle strokes. No. Crosshatch. Crosshatch might work. That's definitely one to consider. Ooh. Oh yeah, spatter. Spat on her? I barely knew her. Yeah, okay, let's put... Smoothness. No, everything. Really helpful. Let's just cancel it and go back into it. Then it might go back to the original settings. Oh no, it definitely did not. That's definitely not what it was. Okay. Not like that. Yeah, it's sort of broken it up a bit, isn't it? Now the key, I suppose the key issue we're going to have is because it's quite large, I'm still going to have the problem of trying to get it to... There's a way. Brain is just sort of trying to gear into something, but it keeps missing. Like it's just chewing through the gear teeth. Let's just try. Yeah, let's just try it. Not the best of decisions, but it's not an unreasonable one either. Right, okay, so here... Oh, that's handy. He passed me. Well done being a genius. That? I must remember shortcuts, but I deliberately put those two there so that I could regain these two rusty colours. But having said that, I might want a slightly different rusty colour, mightn't I, in fairness. So if we went more that one for the dark, maybe like that for the light, give the slightly different metal slightly different rust. Render clouds, and then I'll check and use the one I used here, which I believe was a simple multiply, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it'll be worth a shot anyway. Right, so not the greatest of naming conventions. Hey, do you want to see my rusty clouds? Do you want to see my rusty clouds too? Okay, it's definitely. this one I might be able to get away with going slightly higher. I do wonder, maybe it'd be worthwhile just readjusting these clouds to be slightly a little bit browner there. Just a little bit browner there. Okay, maybe I was a little too subtle there because I can't see a difference. Like that. Okay, there we go. That's definitely accomplished a little bit of a darker thing. So now we want to reload that. Yeah, and I'll tell you what we want to do as well. It's just out of interest. Whoops. Come on. Okay. And then if we do that. Okay. No, that's definitely better. Might want to adjust it, but it is definitely better than it is without it. Of course, you actually have to sort of release it. Yeah? Woohoo! That's changed it up, isn't it? I was just wondering what would happen if I completely inverted the thing. Sometimes it really is just that sort of, you just have to fiddle around until you get it right. And sometimes you don't get it right. Yeah, I had a feeling that was going to happen, so let's not do that. Could you, fine, we'll do it the long way. Sometimes. That'll make much difference. Stumbling into that sort of spotting the tiling, that perfect sort of perfect balance of the value where you don't spot the tiling. So let's go. I don't know how well this is going to work, but we'll duplicate that. You over there. And we'll just essentially try and get a little tiny bit of the probably a very low strength, so otherwise it'll be too much. Lord, it's amazing how that suddenly changes the whole affair. It's slightly alarming. Do it quite nicely on one of the areas and really poorly on one of the others. I do wonder if it would be better if we just skip past the inverted curves, or the curve. Yeah. I really want it quite subtle. If I break that. Okay, so it's not that's causing much of an issue. What we need, yeah, need a bit more of the metal in there. That's not what I intended. It's struggling because I'm in the rendered view. What I want to do is maybe try and get slightly better. Interesting. That is not the colour I thought it was. That's a bit more like the colour I thought it was. Too much blue in there. There's a little bit of blue, but not quite as much as I seem to be getting. But RGB might be the easiest way to deal with that. Maybe at least part of it is going to be trying to break those free, maybe. Let's just try rendering. For real rendering. Oh, good. Check a little render view for you. Yeah, I like the. I want to lessen the rust. Maybe lessen the bump of the rust. It's not meant to be sort of. It's meant to be just sort of like slightly marred up there rather than full on damaged as it seems to be ending up being. And if I isolate the buttons and possibly the internals of the groove and remove them from being affected, yeah, that is about as ugly as I'd been concerned by it being. Okay, let's stop rendering it because I think I've made my conclusion that it's ugly. I should have turned it off then. Now I've probably broken the ability to do it again, but never mind. Right. What's weird is in this view it don't look too bad, but in the actual render, it's bloody horrendous. Okay, I must admit that ends up solving the button, which is kind of what I wanted. I may still separate it anyway, because... let's just pop back in here and see what happens. I think we're not looking at any kind of weird face orientation issue. No, we're not. Just it's a shit texture issue. It's fine. I do need more roughness on that. That's definitely... okay. Right. I think I understand at least slightly, maybe. Precisely how that's happening. Okay. Interesting. Oh, that surely isn't... I don't know. Maybe that is the problem. Okay, so that is where we're getting the problem. So theoretically that's going to be a problem down below as well, surely. Which is intriguing because I never noticed it. But it does make me wonder how... Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Well, I've identified the issue. I'm not sure how to solve it, but I suppose that's half the battle. Where I've tried to make... I can't understand why it's not doing it for the... Unless that is doing... Oh, maybe it is doing it and that's why. Maybe there is. Stop you doing that because otherwise you're going to pain me out, aren't you? Putting you there, and let's give you a little render. Arguably, let's put an extra bit of something in there, because that might just help me figure this out. Rotate it 90 degrees in the X, that's it. G it back a bit, but at the end of the day that should be roughly where it needs to go. Right, now let's see precisely, are we getting the issue I think we're getting? Yes. Okay. Bugger. Well, that's definitely taking the wind out of my sails. I don't know if there's going to be an easy way to solve this. I suppose I'll try putting that back on if it works. No, it didn't. Okay. Yeah, the back. So anybody keeping track, the reason I put a pink background behind it was to check if I could see through the hilt, and you can. All those clever little things I was doing with the alpha channel, yeah, not quite clever enough, because unfortunately what I've done is I've managed to get it to be see-through, which is not what I wanted. So as I say, don't know if there's going to be a easy fix to this fact, or whether this is very much going to be a sort of basically undo everything I've tried to do today. But yeah, that's enough from that render. So I remember to turn it off of the stream first, it tends to work. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. This is a Batman one.
Riddle me this now and riddle me that. Does anyone really know the mind of the bat? I live in the shadows, I work in the shade. I cape in a mask, a lonely keeper's crusade. Can you tell me I'm not insane? Sometimes I get this feeling about the law I'm dealing. Am I letting my reason wane? Have I been forsaken on this path I've taken? Check my head, I guess the joke's on me. Whoa. I'm not laughing at the irony. Oh no. So riddle me this now and riddle me that. Does anyone really know the mind of the bat? So riddle me this now and riddle me that. Does anyone really know the mind of the bat? Wherever you're going, whatever you do, I'm out in the dark, keeping watch over you. So poison the ivy with your crocodile tears. We're climbing the vines to the heart of your fears. Can you tell me has something changed? The rewards are zero, cause I ain't no hero. Do you know it when you go strange? Is your taunting true? Am I as crazy as you? Check my head, I guess the joke's on me. this now and riddle me that. Does anyone really know the mind of the bat? So riddle me this now and riddle me that. Does anyone really know the mind of the bat?
It's another Witcher 3 one, that one. Yeah. Apart from it all going horribly wrong and not working, we've made absolutely zero progress after all. Well, I suppose arguably the world shits in one hand and then high fives you in the other one. We may have found a solution after all. Okay. Let's try. I'll copy that into my base metal. Let's just try and pop that out of there. Pop that into there. Pop that in there, see if it works the same way as I... Oh, no. Oh, might do it if we go like that. Yeah, white. God, I think white is going to be the maximum trend, right? So that would make them all disappear. Good, right? That's what we want. And then white should sort of a greyish colour. Should bring them back subtly, or not at all. Oh, there we go. Yes. Sort of 0.2 maybe. Oh, I guess the colour. That's 0.1 maybe. Oh wait, no, I'm getting. Oh, so 0.9. Yeah, so okay. I was going the wrong way. 0.4. 0.3. There we go. I think that's roughly where we want to go. So, note to self: don't play too much with your alpha channel after all, because sometimes it makes it as simple as the entire fucking thing disappears. Which is not great news. Let's go back to that mode because it's easier on the computer. Or not. Yep, oh there we go, okay. Still a little bit dodgy because it can't work out everything. Guess the clipping. The N is a key. Interesting. Clip is... Yeah. Interesting. Oh dear. Right. So we're back on something now, I think. Well, I can't imagine that's going to help now. There we go, that's how I'll get a bit more of the colour in it. Yeah, it's still doing it correctly. Yes, it is. Not entirely sure what clamp is going to do, but stick it on and see what happens. Nothing as far as I can tell, that's fine. Okay, so I think we've managed to sort of somewhat drag it back from the brink. I don't think this one had any alpha issues, no. So. Well, I suppose that's something. Not a lot, but it is something. Right, next thing we'll do, save it, and I'm just gonna, what I'm gonna do, I'll put in the solid mode, that'll be the easiest way. So, that way. No, that's not what I want. I'll just have to do it manually, which I kind of will have to, but anyway. Actually, that one, maybe I'll leave that one where it is and just go with this button being a different material. The button should stand out from the crowd by being something completely different. Basically, I just want to sort of the cloud, but nowhere near as sort of that rusty cloud 02. Yes, it is good. I'll copy that. Over to our button. We will want the gubbins. Not those gubbins, where are the gubbins? The gubbins. I want mostly the first shader, so we want to drop it down. Even more than that, drop it off. The second shader to be very limited. Right, let's have a butcher's. Oh, interesting. That stands out quite substantially there, doesn't it? Yeah, I say, because it needs to be darker, which we can probably do. By just making that darker. That's lighter. Okay, so I'm going to start fiddling with that base metal again, because I think what we want to try and do will obviously always go well, so let's save it first. So I think I want to put one in there, but not actually have it in there. I think that's quite what I'm after. That's doing it. anything at all. This is where that would work. Yeah, that's not what I want. That's just weird. Okay, not quite as weird as I thought. I must look into that node wrangler to see if I can figure out how you turn it off when you've turned it on. I have no idea. Okay, there we go, perfect. Now, oh, this is Dota 2. It's a character called Pudge. It's one of his more amusing ones. He does do quite a lot of amusing ones, in fairness. Yeah, that's what I need. Well, that's what I want. Shader back in there, please.
So fresh, lovely flesh. On these legs
that is intriguing. What's going wrong here? I see, I probably want that. Get wrecked. 1, 2. Now I've got my hooks in you. 2. Hooks to stew. Yeah, probably that's going to be. I ended up making that too. Maybe not. Okay. Something weird. I haven't resolved the weirdness.
Sometimes that's just the way it goes. Don't waste your life by
Right. Okay, that's this that's doing the... Okay, so I wonder if that's just... an oddity that can be ignored, I wonder. And by an oddity that can be ignored, I mean, if I render it, would it not be there? I'll pop the old render on for you to see. No, that is very much there, isn't it? Okay. Lord. I mean, I don't think that's anything to do with shadow, because if it is shadow, it's a very peculiar shadow. Handle not doing quite well as it was previously. Oh, of course I closed the bloody window. I always forget that bit. Property. Yeah, it's not quite as good as I want it today, but let's try it now. Oh well, never mind. In the wrong window, that's why it's not doing. Right. The easiest way to check this out is to possibly try moving the light. No. Alright. So I don't know precisely what's causing it, but it is there and it is annoying. Well, I know roughly what it might be because it's something to do with this, but it's the wrong thing. I don't like
shattered remains of once great cities.
Oof. Impossible to do it in that mode, and that's the only mode that it fucks off in. Oh, bloody thing. Been an absolute arse today. God, maybe that's where we need it. Right, okay, let's try. Getting rid of that again and bringing this in again. This time. Oh, why'd you move everything, you dumb motherfucker? Just please function. Oh, you're not supposed to be connected there. Try copying and pasting. There we go. Is that right? Yeah, it must be. Ugh. Fuck! Why are you making this difficult? I don't understand. I've done this 1,000 times. Well, I say 1,000 times, it's like 3 times. The other ones have not fucked up as much as this one. fucking thing won't fucking connect and work properly. It is beginning to get on my nerves.
Fight for your values and fight for your friends. Fight through this blight, find the light at the end. Through the age of the dragon, the people will talk of the day they were saved by a hero named Hawk. Come take a seat and I will recite you a tale of bold adventures spanning both sides of the veil. I knew a champion, we traveled far and wide. We saw so many wonders roving side by side. In the streets of Kirkwall we brought help to those in need. Word had spread so quickly of our dealings and our deeds. Fight for your values and fight for your friends. Fight through this blight, find the light at the end. Through the age of the dragon, the people will talk of the day they were saved by a hero named Hawk. Hawk, 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 Hawk. Into the deepest roads we ventured in the black. If we had only known what we were bringing back. We felt the fire of every temper, every mage, caught in the crossfire of their politics and rage. Had to pull some strings and get them off each other's backs. There was so much greater danger waiting to attack. Fight for your values and fight for your friends. Fight through this blight.
It wasn't obvious this has not gone well today.
Through the age of the dragon, the people will
Ugh, don't do that. Annoying cock. Ugh. I'm not supposed to do that either.
just a lonely refugee or champion arrived. Round shores of Ferelden fade to Kirkwall's buzzing high. Rose above the poverty and rose above the pain. My friend became the savior of the white city of chains.
God, could you just let me have what I need, please?
For your values and fight for your friends.
Oh, apparently no.
This light, find the light at the end. Through the age of the dragon, the people will talk of the day they were saved by a hero named Hawk. Hawk, 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 Hawk. It's been a year since I first loaded up my AUG with dual mags and watched a million penis emblems spring up next to gamer tags. It's been a rocky road, one headset and controller have been lost. Had some fun sometimes, but I'm not sure protection rants. Goodbye ghillie suits in corners, goodbye goddamn second chance. Goodbye new transform kids, goodbye hit detection rants. Goodbye ghillie suits in corners, goodbye goddamn second chance. Sure I'll see you sometimes when I rage at Modern Warfare 3. But for now, thank God to adios, goodbye, farewell from me. Goodbye.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to leave the normal map on this after all, because it's just not doing. Just not willing to play the game. Oh, also apparently we're in Photoshop. I don't know how long that's been. Oh dear, well that would be an inconvenience. Oh well, fuck it, never mind, nothing productive's happened, so... Yeah, I think it's going to have to just be ditch the sort of bump map, because it's just not doing, it's not playing the game whatsoever. Yeah, it feels quite a lot like we've sort of taken one step forward and 100 steps back. I need to adjust precise settings on this as well now. So 0.45R. 0.550. And this one is 0.650. Should. That first one's slightly lower. Please don't do the ultimate insult. Okay, no, not quite. Good. Yeah, that might be what we're after. Be just a little bit too emphatic that it's there. Might be worthwhile trying to bring it down a bit. So 0.7 should do it. 0.6. Try that. Might have taken it too far now. Oh no, that might be okay. Split the difference and go up one. Or maybe go 0.65. It might just satisfy a middling ground. Applying them now. something like that. I'm just looking at different renderings now. Right, really not happy about. Oh wow, this is really not doing the appropriate amount of frames per second, is it? I suppose because I'm using a shitload of the old GPU to render this thing. Yeah, something like that. Oh, yet again, of course, I keep forgetting that bit. At some point I'll remember, but seems unlikely. Alright, well I think really with that severe lack of success, I think we'll probably be calling it, so yeah, you can probably say that fine, so right, so let's have a look, see if there's anything on that would be worth raiding, but I don't think. The statistics suggest there's nobody here, so probably won't bother. No. Much there, so yeah, that's a slightly disappointing one this week because it really just did not do. But there you go, that's how these things go. Also apparently it seemed to just skip and drop frames 19 to the dozen at the time, but without actually sort of telling me, weirdly, or it's telling me but in an alternate way. Oh well, anyway, I will go ahead and say cheerio, and then I'll go to the interim slideshow and then turn it off. So cheerio.